How fun. Is it quiet as in just the whole thing's quiet, or is it I'm being drowned out by the game? Because I can fix being drowned out by the game. Okay. Alright, so now we're all good to go? Now we're all good to go?
We should be.
Alright, cool. So I'm gonna get started in 3, 2.
It looks like it.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Pony Island is kind of a game within a game. And the fact that it's kind of about a different game, if that makes any sort of sense. Basically, the story is that there is this game right here. So, like, the physical Pony Island and the Pony Island in the game are kind of two different things. One of them is a video game that I am currently speedrunning for you right now. The other one is a trick made by the devil meant to let him take the souls of unsuspecting souls, I guess. So there's a lot of gameplay that goes on in this game. The first thing you may be noticing is, well, I was getting tickets. This realistic hand is coming out from the bottom left holding this ticket. There are 24 secret collectible tickets throughout the whole game, and in this category, all tickets, we have to collect all 24 of them, which lets us fight the secret final boss. They're really weird. I think it's basically impossible to find them all on a first playthrough. Most of them are really well hidden. Some of them are more obvious than others. But going back to the game, the kind of in-game Pony Island thing is going to be this section of the game right here, which you're going to see a lot of this. Basically, the pony runs at a set speed and is going to be, you just have to kind of jump like this over these gates. If you run into a gate, you'll be sent back to the beginning of the level, which you can see the progress bar at the bottom. We basically never want that to happen because it just means we're going to be basically auto-scrolling for longer, which sounds like free time loss if you ask me. But yeah.
Hey, congrats on beating the game.
Thanks. Well, there's multiple levels. Just because you level up 1,000 times when you beat one level doesn't mean you will never level up again. Another kind of main gameplay, though, is what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm actually doing a secret one of these to get a ticket. But, that's the kind of main puzzle of this game. There's a lot of puzzle aspects in this game, and what you're seeing there is this type of puzzle. You see there's a keyhole at the bottom, and there's a key at the top, and the key is constantly moving downwards, and there are these blocks with arrows in them that we can put into certain holes. Hold on. Okay, this part is confusing. I need to multitask a lot here to do some ticket stuff. But basically, you have to put arrow blocks in the empty spaces to move the key into the keyhole. Here, I'm doing multitasking. In this little arcade-type game, I have to get 51 points to get a ticket. Meanwhile, I'm trying to skip through this cutscene. The way that text works in this game is, it kind of goes by, certain prompts. So I'll see someone on the dialogue say certain things, and I'll be able to hit enter to continue in the cutscene. You see I'm mashing enter here while playing the arcade game. Yeah, there you go. So when they say who is messaging you for that second time, and when I hit enter, they'll continue talking. So I'm kind of trying to work with the cutscene while also playing this arcade game for 51 points. There you go. And now I don't have to worry, because I got the ticket from the game, and now I can just continue with this cutscene. That's actually probably one of the hardest parts of the run, so that isn't completely luck-based. So I'm really glad I was able to get that. If you do mess this up, there is a point in a later cutscene you can play that arcade-type game again, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just kind of stressful because that other cutscene is way shorter. Also, good point of advice. Whenever there's a title screen, click the left head. You're probably going to get a secret out of it. In this case, we have a puzzle for a ticket. And I should explain with what happened in that last segment. A lot of this game is based on mouse movement. So, like, I don't know, if you're a speedrunner who fetch a fruit, you might be good at this game, who knows? I actually tried it. Speedrun on that game once, did not go as well. Here we have to actually lose this set of games because there is enemies, and we don't know how to deal with enemies yet, so now we're gonna go back to the title screen and unlock the options where we can do some crazy stuff, like turn up all the music settings to get a ticket, because I don't know. More importantly, though, there are lasers in the settings which we can use to kill the enemies. But we need to do some puzzles to get the lasers. Basically, the devil made the screen smaller, and is trying to get the button away from us, and we're going to keep using these puzzles to raise the size of the screen until it's too big to move around. This puzzle's annoying because you do a lot of swaps without the key moving. There we go. Also, one thing about the puzzles is when every square isn't filled, also I did a screen shake glitch here. If you do some things fast enough in a section where the screen is told to shake, the screen will be continuously shaking. I can't really do anything about this, just enjoy it. It's kind of hard to do, so... Alright. It's still shaking. Alright, so now I'm back here with the lasers. And you might notice something I'm doing here. I'm kind of holding out the laser for a little bit with an enemy still alive before it actually goes away. I'm doing something called kill delays. So basically, for the sake of realism, since this is styled to be an old-fashioned game in this section, every time you kill an enemy, there's a little bit of lag for delay, like for effect. There's like a little delay effect for lag. So the way that enemies actually work in this game is that they spawn in these waves. So every time you kill a set of enemies, there's a timer, and once that timer finishes, the next wave of enemies appear. So if I wait as long as possible to kill a wave of enemies, the amount of enemies that appear throughout the stage is lower. And obviously, since killing an enemy, because if you get hit by an enemy, which they'll hit you after a certain amount of time of existing, you'll restart the stage. And as I already have implied, or not implied, but explained, that is probably the worst thing in the world. But since you need to kill less enemies, that's obviously less time the game will lag. And so that's just faster. I feel like lag is not a good thing in a lot of cases, unless you're doing stuff like the hat in time quick kill, where you lag the game and it insta-kills the boss. No, this is not by the Five Nights at Freddy's guy. This was made by a guy named Daniel Mullins. I think a lot of his inspiration, there's a big secret thing in the game. There's like this big chain of pointless secrets that he made. Okay, I'm gonna explain this. So, you see this cage on the left? My mouse is actually still active in here. My cursor will not move in here, but the in-game cursor will not move in there, but you see this, but my physical cursor will. So if I pause the game, I can see where my cursor is when it's in the cage. And so I can pause the game, move my cursor over to the delete button, and then pause the game, move it to the yes on the deletion prompt, and just skip that entire kind of boss thing. And that is the first core file deleted. The goal that we were told during the cutscene where I was playing the arcade game is that to get out of the system and free our soul, we have to delete the 3 core files of Pony Island. So, now I have a bit of cutscene stuff going on. We're going to have to navigate throughout this. We're in Act 2 now, where we're trying to find the other core files. So, once Hopeless Soul tells us to log into his we have profile viewing now. So we have to, once we're told the password, we have to go into here. This password is actually the same every time, but this part of the game doesn't work until he tells it to you. Fun fact, the difference between any % and any % no major skips in this game is that if you enter the password 2734 to get into this profile before he tells you it, he'll actually be here, and if you use this portal gun thing, it'll actually just send you straight to the Act 2 boss. So that's kind of what makes any % interesting, because Act 2 is probably the worst one. It's gonna be kind of annoying. I didn't do something I was supposed to do in the guest profile, but I am gonna be going back there, so I don't need to worry. Once we're told to go to the corrupted profile, we can do this. Alright, here I'm playing Little Slots game. They both have to land on tickets. Alright, now I'm gonna go back to the guest profile. There's a follow here. Do that. Alright, and now I'm gonna go into this profile. The corrupted profile usually has like a little, what word am I looking for? It usually has a little, like, log that tells you all the passwords so you can get in here. But the passwords, like I mentioned with Hopeless Soul's account, are never randomized. They're always the same. So you can just go in whenever you have everything else you need. Also, left head on the title screen. Good. Yeah, but now we're going back into Pony Island because Hopeless Soul just absolutely destroyed the devil, and we have to make sure he's okay. Just kidding. No, we actually learned that a place with security low enough to create a portal to the second core file will be in Pony Island, so we have to go back in there now. Well, keep in mind, Zero, that this is the 100% category, basically. This is the closest thing we have to 100% in this game. Like, any percent is 35 minutes. No. In actuality, yeah. The security in Pony Island is incredibly low, enough to create another portal to the core file like we did last time, because, as put by Hopeless Soul, it's incredibly poorly programmed. Yeah, I love that cheer sound. So now we're in adventure mode, which is a kind of long section of the game. It's just going to be a lot of scrolling gameplay. There's going to be a few things I need to talk about as it goes on, but for the most part, it's not too much. The first thing I need to do here is just get my lasers back by just doing this. You're going to see a lot of these puzzles. You're going to have to make stuff loop around and then get it to the end. The teleport blocks that we got just before starting adventure mode, we learned about those. It's those purple blocks I forgot to mention, but if you have 2 purple blocks down, if you just use one, if you have 2 purple blocks down, when the key hits one, it'll move to the other. And then there's big enemies. So big enemies are scary. I don't need to kill Delay, because that's going to be the last wave. The waves are actually going to stop spawning here. With the big enemies, every now and then you'll see they'll fire these projectiles. Alright. That level I just need to immediately exit, because it's not beatable yet. But the big enemies, they'll fire every now and then, and they have a lot of lag. Like, you'll lose about 1.5 seconds when you kill one over saving one. So, like, you usually don't want to kill them. Sometimes they're really bad, though. Like, in this level, they're awful, so I'm gonna kill the one in here. Just right off the bat. There we go. So right now what we're doing is actually grinding for experience, because we aren't strong enough to beat that level over there, the Great Gap. We got 1 experience for beating the level. So instead of actually playing the level a lot, because that's just annoying, we're going to just get a portal, and which will get our experience up to 100. That's how I grind in my games.
Now you're grinding with portals.
Yeah. Oh my god. I love that. Alright, well now we have wings for reaching level 2, which lets us get over the Great Gap. And, pretty soon, we're gonna see, like, the one divergence in, well, one of the two sets of divergences in between no major skips and all tickets. Also, I should point out, you might notice I'm pausing after each level. That's not a bad thing. I'm doing a thing called a pause cancel. After each level, there's a bit of an animation where basically what happens is, the game, not an animation, but the game just kind of freezes to kind of load. But when the game is paused, there's really weird properties when the game is paused, which I'll get into with a later boss fight. But basically, the game kind of has a weird state when it's paused. So if you pause and unpause, it just loads the thing faster than waiting for it to load itself. I don't know why. So weird. A lot of things in this game make a lot less sense than you think it would. Speaking of lag stuff though, like with kill delays, how those lag the game, like how killing an enemy kind of has a lag effect, so does opening your wings. So I actually am trying to do that as little as possible. But there I did some map manipulation to get a ticket, and here's a little secret thing. If I get this coin, and then go all the way back to the start of the map, there's a secret square now down here. And then one right here. Now one right here. Followed by up here. And then there. I did get boat glitch. Boat glitch, I don't know if it saves any time, but instead of just sitting on the boat, your character will be running on the side of it while it's over the water. Now we have a new player model and a ticket. Giving the boat a little push. Alright. Now we're back into gameplay. And I guess if I could try to explain why there's a Crusader as a playable character, the lore of this game is really confusing. Basically, there's a whole kind of lore about, like, well, I'm a dead soul, but, like, what soul am I? And basically, the game tries and makes it so that I feel like, I don't even know, but, like, I'm pretty sure it's, like, you died in a crusade or something. Ooh, this game is just waggy. But yeah, that's why that's there. Here we have another puzzle. This is one of my favorites actually, because we get to use a really interesting mechanic here. If you have a portal, or if you have any, not a portal, but just any type of arrow block that does not apply to the current situation, it'll just it'll just act as a down arrow block. So there, I put a left moving arrow on the leftmost column, so it just acted as a down block, which let me do that puzzle faster than any other method would have let me. That one's an actually unique puzzle in that it has multiple solutions. It's the only puzzle that was intended to have multiple, and that's the fastest one. And who even knows if that's an intended solution? World may never know. I feel like you can't do that on accident, though. Just glad that one's easier. Alright. Now we're gonna get through some squares by doing this, similar to kind of when we got the lasers back in Act 1. We just kind of have to use our mouse. Our mouse is trying to point us at the next square. Squares are always in the same place, so I don't need to worry too much about the mouse pointing. I just need to get to them. And now we're gonna be in the last couple levels of this mode, where these big enemies are gonna have bigger projectiles and move more, and also have more health. And again, although it is slower to kill big enemies, these guys will mess you up. So I'm gonna get rid of them. They are absolutely brutal. and I do not like to deal with them. Especially in a marathon setting. Because just, there's a lot of things in this game that are surprisingly hard to deal with, like, in a speedrun setting. Alright, but now we're headed to the last level of adventure mode before stuff happens.
So when you first played this game, what about it made you think to yourself, you know what? This would be a great speedrun game.
I don't really know, actually. Like, thinking about it, when did I learn this game? 12-hour challenge 4. A year and a half later, I don't know why of all games I was drawn to this one. Like, again, with all the games I've played now, this seems like one of the weirder speed games I've definitely learned. But I do really enjoy that I play this game because I did learn this game, actually, when I was in kind of a drought with speedrunning, and a lot of my games were just, like, boring, and I just couldn't sit through a playthrough of them. And this was a game that, like, really just made me happy to keep speedrunning with, like, how I was playing it, and I just enjoyed it. So, I don't know why, but I'm glad I learned this game. And here we have more looping puzzles. These are great. Alright, so that's over. Now we get to go up here. This is supposed to be where the boss fight is, but the devil's not ready for that. So he's gonna try and make more levels on the fly. It's not gonna work out. Yeah, when you're watching this game be played blind is really funny. Alright, but now we can kind of free roam here. The game's broken. Blame the programmer. The devil's not trying very hard. Here we go. Almost done with looping puzzles, I promise. I think there's one more after this. Hey, do you guys feel nostalgic when I say Pokemon Red and Blue for the Game Boy? Let me show you a little something. There's a glitched out Cinnabar over here. There we go. Yeah, for some reason, on the side of this part of the map, there's a glitched out Cinnabar Island. And if you walk along the coast of it for a little while, a missing no appears and gives you a ticket. This is a weird game.
I actually didn't know about this. That's amazing.
Yeah, actually, going back to something earlier, if you remember when we were in the little, like, profiles, the computer profiles, you get an achievement, not a ticket, but an achievement for typing I am error into the corrupted profile password bar. And it shows like a special little I am error screen.
This game has so many little things that just make it so neat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a really crazy... And again, I was trying to say this earlier, but I started explaining things. There's like this whole kind of point of like secrets that he stuck in to try and like make it seem like there was some big secret. When there really was just nothing. He was just joking around trying to make something. For people to look into because he thought it was interesting. He was inspired. I remember watching an interview about this. He was heavily inspired by he was inspired by Undertale, but not in like the ways you might expect. He was more inspired by like the mysterious parts of Undertale, and the main source he cited was Gaster, actually, for that, because he was kind of like curious, like, he was inspired by, like, all the secrets that kind of branched out from one little thing that was left, like, not hinted at in-game, except for, like, one Easter egg. And so, like, that caused a lot of the more subtle stuff in this game to be put in. Here we have a cutscene. We have an NPC that gives us a ticket at the end of the cutscene. They're off screen right now because I'm standing right next to the level we're supposed to enter at the end of the cutscene. But I'll know when the cutscene ends because we'll get a ticket. And that's a pretty noticeable animation. Yeah. So now we have our boss fight. Okay, there we go. Now we have our boss fight. Final level of adventure mode. We already beat adventure mode. Good job. Waiting for things to happen. Alright, Devil's the final boss. Of course. And yes. Alright, so we don't have to hit him because he's not the actual boss. We're gonna get a portal to the second core file and the real boss. So this is dumb. Basically, this is the closest thing there is to like a real boss fight in this game. The trick is you want to shoot out the jaw first. You're supposed to hit the jaw, the eye, and the forehead in order to beat the boss. And I hit the jaw first because one of the attacks you might have seen at the beginning of the fight was out of his mouth he would shoot these like rock spikes that would fly around me, and then I'd have to hit them with the laser. Obviously, since I have to hit them with the laser, that attack makes me focus my laser on something other than hitting the boss. So I want to get rid of the jaw ASAP, because that gets rid of the attack where he shoots the rocks out of his mouth. And that means I can put more time into focusing my laser on the boss itself. Yeah, it's the Cuphead robot. That makes perfect sense. Alright, there we go. We deleted the core file there. And now we're dead. So yeah, there was a trap on the second core file delete button that poisoned us. It deleted the second core file, but we extra died.
Joke's on Satan, he didn't know we were already dead.
That is true. My dog. So this is Act 3. This is the beginning of Act 3 here. Which is kind of, you know, the title screen. I left Pony headed already. That's always a good thing to do. So now we're actually going to have some of our abilities locked. We can't use our laser right now, and we can't use our wings. We don't need them. We'll unlock the laser next stage when we actually need it, but right now we don't need it. I'm going to try and see if I can't get a peek at my ticket count while I'm pause canceling at the end of the level. The pause cancels that I did in adventure mode also work here. It's at 17. Alright. That's the amount I should have right now, which is good. I usually like panic a lot and do a lot of like ticket checks throughout the run. Just like, yeah, am I missing one? Am I missing one? Like, but it seems right now I'm doing pretty good without constantly checking, so. And those little pauses of time lost do add up when you're very paranoid. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Since the animation has changed here a bit and the game is supposed to look more renovated, the lag effect on hitting a butterfly with your wind. That's what the thing is. You're blowing gusts of air to stop butterflies from tickling you. That's the excuse they make. But there is actually no lag on the butterflies like there is on an enemy kill. So I can hit those butterflies to my heart's content. Also, we have wings again. This part is annoying. I just kind of don't like the parts of the game that don't have a progress bar, and this set of levels does not have a progress bar. So I'm not a big fan of it. If I'm very close, I can do that. I actually also don't have lag when I open my wings anymore, which is good, because now I can just do this and not lose any time for it. Puzzle break, okay. So the puzzle that we've been doing have been reskinned into kind of a puzzle type mechanic for the renovated Pony Island, where we have to guide a butterfly home using the signs. The first two puzzles, there's a little bit of a pause before the butterfly starts moving, even if all signs are in place. So in that time, I can actually just finish the entire second puzzle before the butterfly even moves. And then here we're going to get introduced to our next and final arrow block of the game, which is going to be this one. This is going to move a key down and then spawn a copy of the key to the right. Here I messed up because I was too slow to get rid of the green sign, but that's fine. Alright, and that's our first puzzle break, those 5 puzzles. So now we have a progress bar again, which is great. I love the progress bar. But we also have corrupted butterflies, which look a bit different than the normal butterflies. We do not want to shoot these. If we shoot them, it'll reset the stage. So now we have an enemy that we need to keep alive, and an enemy we don't want to keep alive. The corrupted butterflies are going to be awful real soon, and it'll make a lot more sense. For now, I'm just gonna not worry about it, because I don't need to worry about it. Alright. Alright, now it's time for the worst part of the run. So here we have Jesus. Jesus was skinned to be one of the big enemies, like you saw in Adventure Mode. However, the catch is with Jesus, there is a shield of corrupted butterflies, which we can't shoot. So, enemies spawn in the second half of this level, and if you get a bad pattern of enemies, you can basically be screwed, because, to put it as safe as I think I can in the situation, I died. Because the corrupted butterflies on the shield can just be in a place that will not let you shoot the normal butterflies unless you shoot them, and then in which case the normal enemies will kill you because they've been alive too long. This is basically luck-based, and although we could just sacrifice the second and a half in most cases to just kill Jesus, like with all the other big enemies, this actually gives you a ticket for keeping Jesus alive. So, we get subject to this. Yeah. Welcome to the word. This is why my estimate wasn't like 102. Because I could lose like a lot of time on this. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do 102, but I was thinking of this when I bumped my estimate up 3 minutes. This is without a doubt the worst part of an all tickets run. I used to like making the RNGesus pun here, but it's not Jesus that's random. He just tracks your position. It's actually the butterfly patterns that are random. Yeah, I got a ticket. I didn't kill Jesus. There we go. Oh, do the thing. Okay, there we go. The second puzzle break is only 2 levels. Alright, there we go. And now we're in question mark. So a few things have changed here. The game is kind of going back to its old state now because I don't know. Because I haven't put in my soul yet. So the devil's trying to get me to play more game when there's not really more game to be played. So a lot of things are reverting back to its old state, including my wings, you might have noticed. So there is lag once I use my wings once again. Once Jesus appears in this level, there are no more butterflies that appear, so I don't need to worry about not killing him, because it's really easy to dodge him. There we go. Jump over that gate, and now there's Louis. I never introduced Louis. He was made in the programming rush at the end of Act 2 to kind of be the mascot of the game. He is the star of my current only sub emote, and he's dead. We have to kill him at the end of this part of the game. Alright, and now we have just one more of these puzzles. This is actually going to be the last arrow and key puzzle in the whole game. We just have to do that, and then by the time this gets here, that'll be at the right value, and we can crash the game, which lets us go back to the desktop for the first time in 331 years. That's not an exaggeration, that's the lore. So yeah, now we're basically learning that, hey, you've been asleep for 331 years since the poisoning at the end of Act 2. I don't even know if it's technically poison, but that's just what makes the most sense to me. But there's also a lot of souls in here, not just ours. So yeah. Here we have the recycling bin. The recycling bin is a part of the game. I forgot to do something during that cutscene that gives me a ticket. Ah, great memory. But yeah. Basically, we're going to be playing 3 Pony Island variants. Okay, there you go. That are they're kind of different versions of the main game. So right here we have a 3D version. We only have to play 1 level of each of these. There we go. That was actually really hard, because my eyes are terrible. Also because there's no actual on-screen cursor, so it's kind of hard to know where you are. I like to sometimes just play that in a way where I just do, like, the worst, camera possible. There's a ticket that I forgot to get earlier during the cutscene, by the way. There are 4 little faces on the title screen. and when I tap them in a certain order. Now I get to sit here and do this. I love this part of the game. Yeah, Mike, that's the plot. You nailed it. Nailed it better than I ever could. People would be willing to give their soul to him to play more of it, yeah. But, yeah, we just have to wait for this to fill up the whole screen. League, please. The joy of discovery is not enough. Alright, cool, we got a ticket. That is a legitimate thing in the game. I don't know anymore. There's supposed to be enemies in this part. Where are the enemies? There they go. That was weird. That's an enemy freeze glitch. Sometimes enemies just kind of freeze for no reason, like that. It's usually pretty good because it means they'll disappear automatically without you having to kill them. Nobody knows why it happens, but it does sometimes. It's pretty good. That's actually, like, that level is actually the most common place where it happens. I've seen it in some other places, but that one is the most common. Here we have text-based, which is one of the funniest parts of the game. You're literally playing a text-based version of the game. I don't understand why this was an idea, but it's great. One fun thing here, we have to go into the options. Similar to the beginning of the game, we have to fix the start menu and the options. However, you can shorthand things, so I don't need to type these whole things. So if I want to fix the start menu, I can just type fix. If I want the free ticket, I can just type ticket. Snowman. That's my favorite setting. That's the real setting. Snowman. Also, another funny thing here. This is one of my favorite jokes in the whole game. The text-based game tells you about how good the loading screen is. You can't even see it. It's a text-based game. This game's really weird. There's a really weird charm to this game. Fun thing about this is you actually press a button to enter a prompt faster, but like there's a certain amount of time before a prompt becomes available where you can press enter and it'll still accept your answer. Like right there. I don't know if that actually saves any time because of the way that text scrolling works in this game, which I never explained. Text, basically, in situations like this, the text will be on screen longer based on the amount of text. So something like didn't matter will be on screen a lot less than your neck breaks when it impacts the flag post. Which is not a sentence I expected to read out loud. Alright, we're done with this section of the game. I have 23 tickets entering this fight, which means we're not missing anything. So here we have our last kind of boss fight type thing, once it loads in. This one takes a while to load in. And this is basically the hardest battle as someone with no brain, and that is a battle of wits. Basically, the thing is, Asmodeus will try to get you to answer these questions correctly while distracting you and trying to trick you. And the goal is, if you look away, you may miss the cue that gives away the answer that he's looking for. It's really unique, actually, and he's very good at distracting you. However, he falls to the one trap that speedrunners always trap things in, and that is his quiz answers, same every time. So I don't actually need to look at him. I mean, I need to look at him to know when to enter an answer, but I do know what the answers are, so I don't need to worry about that. Typoing here is also awful, because if you typo, he'll say your answer's wrong. Shoutouts to Jerry Berry. The game fakes Steam notifications you right here. And it just, I don't know how it picks someone. I think it does based on, like, recent activity. Someone to fake Steam notification with you. I usually like to keep track of who appears during marathons. But that is not a real Steam notification. Jerry does not usually call me a pathetic fool. Usually. There are exceptions to that one. There's a real Steam notification. You guys can't see it. Yeah, no, this is a long cutscene. There's gonna be one important thing that happens, like, at the tail end. But until then, we get to boogie. We're about halfway through. Which horse-like animal appears most commonly in this game? I don't know. This is about a red panda, obviously. This is Red Panda Island. And what do you think I'm playing this game in this marathon? But no. What happens if you play this in offline mode? Then it's a lot more obvious that it's a distraction, but if you look away, you miss Asmodeus calling you a pathetic fool. So, who's the real winner here? I don't know. Red Pony Rush. Oh god. Are there actually any video games that star a red panda? I'm not even sure about that. Do you know of any? How is my memory? So here's gonna be a thing. We're gonna fake. So he's gonna fake crash the game during this memory sequence. We're gonna do some crazy stuff. I'll explain this. Okay, so what just happened there was part of the catch to if you look away you lose in this boss fight is if you pause the game or unfocus the game, if you unfocus the game it like freezes. If you unfocus the game or pause the game it causes you to lose. And right there you can kind of abuse that. So if you pause the game and unpause it, the game will say, no, you're not supposed to fake crashing the game anymore because you just lost. However, due to the way that memory game works, kind of works with the 2023 code, you're supposed to be allowed to type it in well in a state different than the fake crashing the game. And so it just allows it in all states, including when you lose. So if we pause and unpause the game, and then type 2023 and hit enter before he kills us, when we respawn, the game will say, hey, you entered the code correctly, so you're past that, and it'll play the cutscene where he says, you win, despite you just dying. Now, we combine that with a ticket that is actually hidden within the graphics settings while playing the game, and that's our 24 tickets. There's a ticket in the graphics settings. But now we just have a lot of cutscene followed by a pretty long auto-scrolling section where basically all three port files are now deleted. So we're going to do a full system dump to remove all files, which is basically a very long pony scrolling section where I'm gonna run away and a bar is gonna go from 0 to 100. It's the system. And we need to run away from the deletion of everything, which is why we're going to be running. But this is not much happening. It's literally just 6 minutes of me running. I don't even have to die, or I don't even have to shoot things like I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be trying to save as many souls as possible, is usually what happens. Like, if I get hit, or if anyone behind me gets hit, I'll lose a soul, and I'm trying to rescue as many souls as possible. However, nothing you do except for like pausing or unfocusing the game, will cause the countdown timer at the top to move any slower. So I get to sit here. This is usually a good bathroom break point if you really need to go to the bathroom before the secret final boss. If you're not doing all tickets, this is actually the last 6 minutes of the whole run. But this is all tickets, so it's not the last 6 minutes of the whole run. Yes. I don't know. I haven't checked Twitter since I woke up. Actually, when I woke up, I looked at my phone. I've had post notifications on for this marathon because I wanted to see a lot of the featured stuff that you guys posted on Twitter. And I woke up to just like 10 billion post notifications. And I was like, oh boy. But yeah. I guess, I don't know. Is there anyone here that wants me to talk about anything in this game? Because I'll do that. I'll explain anything. Yeah, we sit here. We're already at 40. Yeah, this part was really slow. You're supposed to be active and it's supposed to be fun, but like that's... My hands hurt. I just woke up. This is a hard game to play when you're like tired because, you know, you have to focus a lot and move your hands really quickly. But I mean, I got my world record at like 2 AM, so I don't think I'm allowed to speak about playing this game while tired is a bad idea. Yeah, that's not things you do when speedrunning. Look at me jumping over that spike. Around this point, around the halfway point, Louie will show up. Why are your legs there? Get your legs off the screen. Thank you. That's not supposed to happen. I think I know why that happened, actually. I did not expect that. Okay. Like, going back to my point though, even if I jump right into a death, it still counts up. It still is going up to 100. Nice. Yeah, it's still going up to 100. And then once it hits 100, it will get credits. And then there's a secret boss after the credits, so time doesn't end at credits. Because that would just be lame. Nice. Yeah, getting some cereal is good for the end of this. And then we have Batman stuff after this. That's gonna be cool. Oh yeah, a lot of ponies died. I should have explained why we're a pony if you didn't read the cutscene, actually. It's because in order to get away from the everything in the system being deleted, in order to get away from that fast enough, we all possessed ponies and just started running. But yeah, that is the system dump, and now we're going to have credits followed by the final boss, because that's the order things go in video games. Why? When were submissions for this marathon open? Because I'm looking at the screen, and at 110 is an estimate I would have set like 3 months ago. Okay, I'm going way under. Yeah, no, if you had not gotten all the tickets, time for any percent and no major skips is when the screen fades to white at the end of that sequence. Sequence. And Asmodeus would have been really the last boss you would have faced. But we have a Hopeless Soul here. Hopeless Soul has basically been our guide. Okay, that makes sense, winner. Calm down, I freed you in less than an hour, dude. Oh yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you're an epic gamer. Did you want epic gamer finale? So he's gonna give us a 3-phase epic gamer finale. That's the boss fight. So yeah, the first phase we get some new mechanics. We actually get lateral movement. And we get to hit Hopeless Soul. We can hit him during that cutscene, which is cool. Actually, I took damage already, which I should point out through this fight. This is true for all phases of the fight. Whenever you take damage, he actually restores a bit of health. So we don't want to take damage, because that'll make the fight longer. Because we'll have to hit him more. So this first phase, he has 3 attacks. He can summon enemies, he can drop spirits on us, or he can make blood appear. Here's the spirits attack. Then we have to jump over. Our jump and laser movement is still the same with the right click and left click mouse buttons for jumping and stuff. We just kind of move with with A and D now. I don't know why I said W. That's the wrong key. And that's phase 1. And here we have our Pony Galaxy themed phase. Here you might notice me wiggling back and forth a lot. Also, yeah, we can damage him during that. I don't know where he is right now. You're gonna see this because you might notice when I'm moving to the right like that, a lot of my shots actually get fired out right next to each other because the fire rate combined with just like how much, you know, like the fire rate combined with just where in the hitbox, the spread is, like the shot is, like, is created from. It's weird, but basically it allows us to just get a lot of hits on with like one shot when it moves at the same speed as a single shot. So if I wiggle back and forth a lot, I can actually get pellets to spawn next to each other, and that actually, for some reason, it just moves everything along faster. This game is really weird. Okay, yeah, there's some damage, so a little bit of health healed. Not too bad, though. Still should be fight with the sun. Give me a second. Should still be done. There we go. Yeah. This is the last phase. So time's gonna be when I kill this phase. So time is fairly soon. This is really easy phase. The only thing you have to watch out for is when he does that animation, which he drops a hurdle on the ground. Because as long as, like, he always summons enemies when he's in the middle of the screen, like this. And as long as you're holding your laser at him, all of the other enemies will just run right into the laser before they actually damage you. So you just have to watch out for the animation he does where he drops a hurdle on the ground, which is going to be that one. And it's better for him to summon a lot of enemies because then he doesn't move around as much, which obviously makes it harder to hit him when you have to kind of move your laser to track his movement. And in time, that's the game. That's all I have. That's it. Those are his words, not mine. Alright, but yeah, that's the run. So what time was that about? Hello? Yeah, this was a while ago when I was, like, not as good at all tickets as I used to be. So when submissions were, like, 3 months ago. I really improved this category a lot throughout the summer, to the point where usually I put in 105 estimates now, but the time submissions were open. I was just not comfortable with 105. Time, I already called time. I think looking at the stream when time ended, it might have been around like 101:37. I don't have my own timer up.